Someone's been mucking around in my knife drawer. So, are we up? Let's see. New print party blocks. Yes, indeed. New print party blocks. Warning, incoming stream. So. No, it's new print party blocks. At last, the current set. Well, there's 3 sets out there right now. And they have done fabulous duty, but my God, they are wearing out so much. So it's time for some carving at last. Oh, look at this. We've got a bit of warning. Anybody got headphones on? We're going to have a tap here. It's been a long time since I've done this. Ready? There's a bit of a backstory to this block. Literally, a bit of a backstory to this block. This piece of wood. We've had trouble getting good, strong, hard wood. All the bits of cherry we found here and there in the past few months have all turned out to be too soft. They're okay for maybe carving some color blocks, but none of the bits of cherry wood we found are suitable for key blocks. The party room gets huge use. We need a really hard piece of wood for the key block for that one. So what we've done is, I don't have it here to show you, but those of you who have been here for a party, you know, there's, for example, we've been using the Momotaro image. It was a key block prepared for us, I don't know, 5 years ago or so. We bought it from Matsumoto-san. And it was a hardwood on both sides. We carved the Momotaro print on the top of it, and the back side we didn't use. So what we did was, to find a good hard piece of wood for this next round, we took the Momotaro block, and I cut away the back part of the block, the unused face. And we have now put that unused face onto a new plywood core. So this is the piece of wood that's been sitting on the party bench for the past 3.5 years, just waiting its time. All the time it's been waiting, it's been watching the parties and hearing the parties and listening to the parties, and now its day has come. We've bonded it onto a new piece of plywood. Now if we just did that, if we just put the piece of cherry onto the plywood just by itself, it would warp. So on the back side, to keep this thing stable, we've just put a few more strips of cherry. It'll never be used. They're just junk cherry. We've used the pieces of wood that would never be used. They're too smashed up. But they will form the back side just to keep this sandwich stable. We'll get this thing pasted down. You can see what the image is going to be. Hang on a sec here. I can talk, but I can't talk too much. Let's get some light. And we'll zoom in a minute. Once I get carving, we'll zoom the camera in a bit. But for now, just let me get this thing pasted down. Also, for registration marks for the party room, we cut massively large registration marks so that the beginners can find them. I'll do that later. Right now I'm just cutting a small registration mark so that I know where to get the paper glued down. Later we will cut a good wide landing field that everybody can see and find easily. And here's our image. Let's see, let me get it set onto the back sheet here. It'll be it there, it'll be cut about here, let's see. And yes, the next party print is going to be a simplified version of our friend, the Great Wave. I think that's it. If it goes right about there. There. And there. And it goes down. It'll be there. All right, let's do this. Oh no, I haven't, important. I've got to touch up some places on here. Hang on a sec. Oh, another one. We're doing some adaptations, of course, to this image. The real Great Wave takes about 7 or 8 printings, depending on the way you approach it. We can't have an 8-block image in the party room. It just takes too long. You know, you've got the one we're using now is 4 blocks, and it's with 4 or 5 people. It's difficult to get finished in an hour without, you know, rushing through to the point that everybody is stressed. And the Great Wave normally takes 8 printings. I guess I said 7 or 8, depending on how you adjust the different setting on the color blocks. So we've adapted it, or I've adapted it, in a way that I think it can be done with 5 printings and still come up looking something like the real thing. I can't explain it all to you as I sit here right now, because this is just one of the blocks. This is the key block. But as we get through this process, I'll be starting carving on this one today. Then over the next week or so, a couple of weeks I guess it's going to take me to get this done, I'll show you the way we've done the color separations bit by bit to be able to make this printable. 1, printable by beginners, and 2, printable by a group of 5 beginners within the space of 1 hour. And that's quite a challenge, actually. And also with the idea that they're all going to get reasonable, nice results. The tracing she gave me, she didn't put the Idaho foam areas quite strongly enough. I've got to trace them out here. So I put them all. Done. I think we're ready to go. Oops, missed a spot. Jeez. There's a party going on. That's a party reservation coming in the background. There's been two in the past few minutes, actually. They're stacking up. That last reservation was for April 2nd. I know for most of April we will be absolutely, totally sold out of parties. I know, absolutely. The reservations are coming in now, hour by hour by hour. Oh, yeah. I know, Shiba-san's print from yesterday. Yes. I did put it in. It's in the catalog. If somebody goes to, if you go to the mokohankan.com catalog, the print catalog, look for the category called guest. I know we're making a new category in there. Somebody can maybe find this. Go to the mokohankan.com website, look for the print selection, the catalog, and there's a bunch of keywords and categories in there. Look for the category that's called the guest prints, because that's where people like Ayumi-san's prints. Mokan's not publishing them, but they're going to be guest in our catalog. So I did. I uploaded it last night. The print is called Ghost Series Contented Spirit, and it's now in the catalog there as of last night. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. Ghost Series Contented Spirit. Come on, a whole 20 seconds has gone by. Nobody's posted it yet. I guess it's difficult to find. All right. Hi. Our catalog is not the easiest thing to... Okay. I know I uploaded it. Hang on a sec. Here it is. Oh, somebody's got it. Bingo. The widescreen version. I haven't looked at the widescreen version yet. I'm sorry. I know... Sorry. I don't even know if it's on the widescreen version yet. This... bit by bit getting this done. Maybe somebody's got it there. That stream yesterday, you know, I was thinking it was going to be something difficult and boring or whatever. It actually turned out to be a whole bunch of fun, you know. That was a ton of fun for me too, you know. And Amy-san, you know, she said she was, you know, she had enjoyed it, you know. I was a bit worried about, you know, having her do that for the first time in public in the stream while people are watching, you know. And if she was going to screw up and make a klutz for herself or something, it would be not so good. But she did very, very well. She's a sharp girl, you know. Okay, we can start to maybe zoom in a bit here. When we get carving, I'll zoom in even closer. Let's see. Usho. For those of you who don't, I guess there's new people here who don't know what I'd done, that I had the thing I stuck down was 2 sheets of paper. One was a backing sheet. What have I done with it? Did I throw it away? One was, it was a backing sheet of copy paper, and laid to that was a very, very thin sheet of Japanese paper, Japanese gampi paper, which had the image. The gampi paper stayed down. We can maybe try and find a piece of it here. So This is the Gampi paper that stayed down, and I'm now delaminating it, and I'm just peeling away part of that paper to leave the front surface, which has the image on the block. Today's is not delaminating very smoothly. Sometimes they peel off smoothly in one go. This one is not doing so well today. Okay, we don't need to take it all down all the way. Let's just do this bit by bit by bit. Now, where do we start here? I think, because I'm really out of shape, I'm just going to start with the borderline here. I'm not going to start with any small details here. It's been weeks since I did any steady carving, so I'm not going to get fancy here. Okay, what are you going to do with the camera? Let's see. I'll pull the scope in and put the focus in one spot. Let's find a spot to start here. If I keep that as the, let's zoom in. Is it going to be in focus still? Let's start there. Someone's asking, would a laser printer and a hot iron beezer? This is a laser printer. We used a laser printer to print the drawing on thin paper, and down she goes. Period. It doesn't seem to be much difficulty with this. So. Well, let's do some things. Let's get going here. Right. We've talked about this thing before, about where two different lines join. You've got a curve and then lines coming into it. We don't cut corners like this way. We just come straight across, cutting very lightly. And then later on, these will be cut out like this. If we stop at each corner, then you lose the smoothness of the curve. So you have to come straight through. Lightly, lightly. It's just scratch the top of the wood there. No danger of it popping up. It's cutting deeply here. It's about 1/2 millimeter. Then as I get to this line, I lift the knife. It's just scratching and now plunging again. But to an observer, it looks like these are being cut off, but they'll stay there. Here's the little men. Now we asked our girl who did this tracing for us. She's cut the number. There was 8 men here. We've reduced it to 3. And we've simplified this picture all the way over. It's got to be smaller. It's got to be easy to print. We can't have too many ridiculously fine lines. So this is a simplified version of the famous picture, but we think it's going to be very satisfying to print it and make it. We'll see. This is all an experiment, and I think it's going to work, but never quite know. And I had promised the Kickstarter backers last year that this image would be in the party room by this spring. And we're actually in the spring now, and here I am just getting started, so whatever. All right, already closing the circle here, and get started on the middle. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's the circle outline. All right, where should we start? Let's maybe start with one of these boats. Come on. How's the chat going? Oh, look at this. Next video is coming soon. Actually, I got halfway through it. The last 2 nights I've been doing video editing. The next video is about halfway edited. It's Kubota-san doing the test printing on the Serpent Strikes image, which we just sent to Jed last week. You know, I showed you the finished print a few days ago. And when it was being test printed, I took video, and that's now being edited. So the next YouTube video should not be too hard. Should not be too hard. I didn't panic when you asked about the video. That's because it's underway, that's why. It's because it's actually happening. If I hadn't had a chance to get started yet, maybe then I can make your favorite noise. But no, it's underway. It's in the editing software as we speak. All right, let's start on one of these boats. Here we go. Am I that predictable? I guess I am. Whatever. So some of this carving is going to be neat and clean, and some of it's going to be rough, tumbling water and stuff like this. You know. There's places that will have smooth lines, fun to carve, and there's places that will have very rough lines. Are we visible? Yeah, I think we're visible. It's okay. One of our staff girls, it's Kawi-san, the girl who did the Momotaro Peach Boy image for us. She did this simplification for me of the Great Wave. And we gave her a mandate, you know, simplify it, you know, cut down, instead of 8 men, cut it down to 3 men, instead of 20 strokes here, cut it down to 10 strokes. But what we don't want to lose is the feeling and energy of all this drawing. So she had to sort of try and copy hook-sized brush strokes, but in a simplified form. It wasn't easy, and she tried again and again. I rejected a whole bunch of times she did this. You know, it's been a long time coming, not from procrastination, but because it's been a really hard thing to do. To simplify this and not spoil it, not make it look like just a parody. You know. We want an interesting picture for people. We want them to, when they finish their print in the print party room, we want them to be proud of what they've done, not ashamed of it, you know. So this is a simplified version of the Great Wave, but not kindergarten at all. It's actually going to be quite well done. Throughout the years, many publishing companies here have made smaller versions, you know, tourist versions of the Great Wave. But this is a bit different. What we've done here is because people are going to print it themselves, we've had to simplify the way that it gets printed. So it's not just a question of reducing size. The print itself actually is not easy to print, the real one. There's gradations all over it. There's places where you need to print very thin lines next to very broad areas. It's not a trivial one to print at all. We think we've worked out a way that people without experience on our printing bench can actually get it done, but we'll see. This is all still hypothetical. Actually, speaking about that next YouTube video, I'm not sure if this will be of interest to people or not, but I'm going to edit this one in a bit of a different way. When I was at Kubota-san's place the other day to do the test printing on this, he hadn't had a chance to see the print or the design before we went over there. I just booked the time. I just booked him for the day and said, you want to do some test printing for me? You know, what's the daily rate? He told me it's 20,000 yen for the day. I took the blocks and paper over there, and away we went. And he'd never seen the image. And what he does, well, actually what we all do in this tradition is we make all of our colors, we mix all the colors for a print from a few basic sort of primaries. Not primaries in sort of the sense of a, well, they're similar. We use a few different kinds of red, a cool red and a warm red. We use a couple of different blues. There's a Prussian blue and an indigo, and some are a bit cooler, some are a bit warmer. And we have one basic yellow that we use these days. And then on top of that we have the black, the calligraphy ink that we put into everything. So I thought it would be interesting this time. I put the camera on top of the place where he mixes colors. I put the camera up on a stand looking straight down onto his tile. He has a white tile on his bench. And the tile is surrounded by his pots of raw color. So what he did was he took our sample print in hand. It was just a Photoshop printout from Jed's original design. He put each block on his bench one at a time and refer back to the Photoshop printout for the color that Jed had sort of specified. This is just laser printing off of Photoshop. It's not really a perfect, this is not Pantone numbering or something. It gives you an exact tint and shade. But it just gave me a general idea, what kind of color do we need for that. And I put the camera straight down on his tile and I left it running for each one of the blocks. So what he would do if there's a sort of a brown needed for one of the guys in the, their clothing color, I left the camera running while he looked at the thing. Then he got his little dabbers and he put a dab of yellow on the tile, he put a dab of blue on top of the tile, put a bit of red, no go, mixed a bit more blue in it, put a bit of black in it. And I left the camera running while he did this, ending up with the color he wanted, which he then threw on his brush and took an impression. So this next video is going to be a bit different. Instead of editing that part out, which I normally do, we normally just show, hi, rubbing the color on the block, rubbing the paper on the back of the barrel, and bingo, there it is. This time I'm going to leave all the color mixing in, because I've learned a couple of things. I've learned that when the videos get a bit too long by my standards, it seems that people don't care. It doesn't matter. And I get feedback again and again and again. Dave, it doesn't matter, make them longer, put everything in. So for this one, it'll be a bit of an experiment. You're going to see all, boring or not, you're going to see every step of a professional printer figuring out how to make each one of the colors in this finished print. And it'll be a couple of days before I'm finished it. I'm sorry, a couple of days. I don't know how long it's going to be before it's finished. It's halfway done now. And I think it's going to be a fun video, different from the previous ones. A lot of people don't know that the UQA printers, they're really, really different from things like the painters, Japanese painters. That is one big helicopter. The way ukiyo-e printmaking works is quite different from the way that painters do things here. We've got people that come in here asking about where to get supplies, and they go to a pigment supply shop here in Tokyo. There's a bunch of pigment shops, and you go in the front door, and there are literally thousands of little bottles of pigment, jars of pigment, literally thousands. One wall with a huge shelf is all different tones of green, mild green, dark green, light green, blah, blah green, blah, blah green. The one next to it has different blues, different reds, different purples, all that stuff. We don't do that. Those are pigments for Nihonga painters, Japanese style painting. And those people buy shades, buy tones of pigment. We don't do that. We just use our basic, I can't say primaries, but anyway, basic few tones, and we mix them. And it's the printer's pride. All the ukiyo-e eras, we don't choose our colors. We make our colors. We create them. It's the ukiyo-e printers that created them. So this is great. This is going to be a chance just to watch Kubota-san as he actually makes the colors for one of Jed's prints. And I should have done this, I guess, a long time ago. But anyway, that's what you'll be seeing in a few days when I finally get that video made. So a few days. I don't know. The store's going crazy this week. We've got 3 parties lined up today. There's bound to be drop-ins. We'll probably be doing 4 parties. Construction downstairs. I didn't even open the shutter this weekend. What's this? What's going on? Here. Sorry not to be following every bit of this. Oh my God, you guys have really been, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on here, but chat. Is the cherry turning out to be as hard as you hoped? This block, well, I've carved this before, and as I said, it's the same piece of wood that I carved for the Peach Boy print. It was the back and front, which used the same raw piece of cherry. So yeah, it's hard. It's nice and hard. Mostly it's smooth. I know this is the kind of wood that we're having so much trouble finding these days, you know. I was very happy, very nice to carve this. It's not rock hard like the boxwood we use, you know, but it's hard enough for this key block. Very pleasant feeling to carve this, you know. I'm almost forgetting what it's like to have a really, really nice, good piece of dense cherry. The stuff we've been getting for ourselves is just so bad. I don't remember anymore what it's like to have good, steady, stable supply of good wood, you know. Those were the days. I just didn't know. More helicopters and planes. Don't know what's going on out there today. It's Sunday morning. Maybe there's some kind of practice rehearsal, you know, the fire department or whatever. They do that all the time here. Coming along well. It's nice to get back into it here. Forget how nice and peaceful this is to do this. Questions. When you lay out your prints, do you take into account the direction of the grain when you have fine or individual outlines? The grain of the block has to run the long way. So the expansion is this way, no expansion this way. When we put the paper on, we rub in the direction of no expansion. The paper grain matches the wood grain. So we always, whenever there's an image in a longer and shorter format, the longer format is always horizontal. Within that image, whatever the artist draws will be this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. We just have to go with it. So we don't pick a piece of wood or lay out the image on the wood grain with any relevance to the actual lines of the drawing. We just have to take what comes. And if these little things I'm carving right now, they're actually cross grain, which makes them very easy to carve the shape. If I'm carving some more, maybe in another part of the print, there might be some that are in with the grain. They're more difficult because your knife tends to follow the grain. So no, we don't choose. The block is set and the design is whatever the carver is given. Carve it, please. Lines are vertical, horizontal, circular. We just have to go with what comes. Yeah, and all blocks in a set, I mean, the color blocks that match this would be cut and laid out in the same way. To some extent, this doesn't matter quite so much anymore because, we're using now blocks with a lamination in the middle of plywood. So these days, block expansion and block contraction is not so much of a factor for us anymore. When I was doing, up to about 15 years ago, we were using blocks that were solid wood. They absolutely are important. You can't do one block this way and one block this way because the contraction would just kill you. But these days it's not so much of a factor because of the plywood core. Is hardwood or softwood better for woodblocks? It's all totally depends on the work. In our ukiyo-e tradition, it's all a hard cherry wood, all of it, even the blocks for the color blocks. But within that, we pick harder cherry for things like the key blocks because the lines are far smaller and tinier. and we pick a softer version of the cherry for the color blocks, where it's more important for us to get moisture absorption. The harder blocks that are suitable for fine lines don't actually absorb water very well, but it doesn't matter for a key block. But for a color block, it's vitally important that the wood be really nicely absorbent so the water goes smooth inside. But it's all hardwood in the biological sense. You know, it's not softwoods like pine or whatever. The modern printmakers are using all kinds of stuff. Very, very common. They're using Sheena plywood, which is very, very soft stuff. But the people who use that are not generally carving very many fine lines. So. Or making many copies, which is another factor. This print will be making literally tens of thousands of copies over its working life. And we want a wood that's going to stand up to the wear and tear of being rubbed on constantly. So for someone who's only making a few copies or a dozen copies of their print, wear and tear is not so much a factor. But for us, it's absolutely critical. Of course, in general, the harder the wood, the longer lasting. I see these questions. People are putting questions into the stream here, and I'm catching some, but I'm probably not catching most of them. So we do have a, for those of you who are new here, we do have a question box. Right? Can I zoom in more? Maybe I can. If I zoom in too much, it starts to lose focus. So let's have a look. I don't know how far we can go before it cracks up. And I know also what's going to happen. The farther I zoom in, the more complaints I get about cutting my fingernails. I know. My fingers are a real mess right now. I know we were doing plastering. We've been doing general construction, you know, plastering and stuff in the building downstairs here. And all of us, we're just smashed up. My hands are a wreck right now. So. Last night I put in baseboard on the toilet. Didn't get a chance to glue it down, but the baseboard's now cut. Got to put that in tonight if I get a chance to get that in tonight. And our next big project downstairs now, we're going to try and get the framing, I say framing, done for the party room. We're going to build the floor. The room downstairs actually is just rough. It was an old kitchen. It's a filthy, dirty kitchen with asbestos roof and all kinds of crap that we just can't deal with. So we're just going to frame inside the old space. We're not going to take down the old ceiling. It's some kind of strange fireproof tile, so we're just going to leave it all alone. And we don't want dust shedding from the ceiling because we don't even know what it's made of. So we're just going to frame inside this, seal off the old stuff, and put a new clean room inside the old room. We're lifting up the floor, bringing in the walls, and lowering the ceiling. So Whoa, 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 whoa. What do I got here? So. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look at this stream. I'm sorry, guys. I'm missing nearly all of this. You're answering. Okay, good, good. This is for the print party room. Yes. So lots of new faces I see here. I'm sorry. Good. Thanks for helping out, regular viewers. Thank you. Thank you. Very helpful. Time is it? Sort of getting there now, isn't it? It's 9:20 or something. I think we're just about ready to get the day started here. Kawai-san should be coming up the stairs sometime soon. It's going to be 4 of us today. It's Kawai-san, Nakamura-san, and one of our new trainees, Kitamura-san, a young girl who started with us last week, training for print parties. She looks really good so far. Looks really good. She did a couple of print party help sessions yesterday and did really, really well. Whoa! Here we go. Indeed. That'll be Kawai-san, I guess. Let's see. So, what's going to happen now then? Today's Sunday. Monday will be another stream. I'll be here tomorrow. Tuesday will be off. I probably won't be in Ome. Then Tuesday I'll be doing construction downstairs. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting we've got to get a slideshow, some pictures from downstairs. There hasn't been much progress, but I've got to get you some pictures. The left wall of the shop is finished now. We're working on the plastering of the back room. The toilet room plastering is finished. We're filling in the holes in the back wall where the old ventilation fans and the old air conditioner box were taken out. So I'll try to get a slideshow for you tomorrow. And as far as the streaming goes, obviously you can see now what's going to be happening the next week or so. I'll be doing carving most days. So the streams will be focused on carving for the next little while. I'll try and get that YouTube video up, the one with Kubota-san mixing pigments and doing test proofing on the serpent. And in the middle of all this, the shop has gone just crazy every day. Visitors and guests and pictures and parties and selfies and pictures together with the people who come and visit. And don't know what he's done. He came up the stairs and disappeared. Well, he's checking the party schedule so he can see what we're up to, you know. Good morning. 新聞ですが、昨日新聞あった？
新聞ありましたと思います。なんかこの辺にいつも置いてる。
全然見つからないです。夜夕飯食べに行った時に探したんですけど全然見つからなかった。もうあんまりあったかどうかわからないです。じゃあリュックにそれベストですね。リュックに入れてください。で昨日のもの誰が使ったステッキだったか、まあ探したんですけど。いいです。Say hello to the Twitchers. We're live here this morning. Liveですね。Kawai-san's in the back here, so.
Good morning, everybody.
Have you got him in there? Here we go. はい。
Good morning. 今、波浦の感じ。
そう、波浦です。Simplified version for the print party ね。そう。1.5枚かな。We can do it in 5 blocks. So, if I can see it here, if I zoom out.
You got it there? が香りって書いてね。
No, he didn't. 北斎でしょ？香織さんじゃないですね。そう。
あ、そっか、北斎じゃない。
でしょ？
そうです。アレンジ出してるけど。
そう、it's here. It's 勝子北斎、波浦。All right, here we go. The phone's ringing. It's just, here we go. Okay, there's lots of chat here I've mixed. I'm sorry very much not to catch everything. Can you repeat who designed this modified version? No, not Shiba-san. This is Kaori Seki, one of the young girls who works for us. She did the Momotaro print we've been using in the print party room. And she did the small Saint Shafda prints that are in our catalog. She can do very nice work. And she did a simplified version of this. We've not just shrunk it, we've simplified the line work so we could actually carve it and make sense. And we think we can get it done in 5 blocks. So people on the print party can do it within 1 hour. He did it, he made the noise. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, where we go. Okay, we're off. We're off. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll probably be back at the same bench carving the same thing. See you tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll have a read through the chat later on, see if I catch up on what I've missed. Thank you again. Bye for now. And I should, once more, we should pop in Shiba-san's print, you know. Well, Shiba-san's print is on the website at last, but I should pop that link in, I guess, one more time if it's here. Maybe it's this one. There it is. That's Shiba-san's print for those who missed it. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye. See you next time.